Hi, team. Welcome to another team training. We're so excited to have special guest Vanetta Wallace with us. Hi, Vanetta.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
I'm
Wonderful.
so glad. I'm so glad um you agreed to hop on with me. I really wanted to have Vanetta share with us because I overheard her or not overheard, but I oversaw her in the comments in Team Nailed It talking about how she does a monthly open house. And I loved this concept so much because, this is something I've been talking to our team about since I got back from Leader Summit. Corporate really wants us to make it the standard, make it part of our, business model, and part of our monthly plan is to have two parties a month, whether they're virtual or in person. And when I saw that Vanetta was doing these every month, these open houses, I was like, okay, girl, you need to train all of us and tell us kind of how you go about it. So I'm excited to learn from you. But before you jump in on that, will you just kind of share your story and like how you found Color Street?
Oh, I love that. Yes, I will. As a matter of fact, okay, so because I because Color Street got to start with Avon, I know I can mention Avon. Okay, so I've been an Avon representative for going on 27 years. So I was lucky to have been one of the representatives who got to try Color Street back then, but I don't think it was called, obviously it wasn't called Color Street then,
Yeah,
but
it was in Coco before
yes,
Color Street became a brand, a direct sales brand. Yeah.
yes. So I fell in love with it. And I remember Avon telling us that it was not going to be in the catalog anymore. And I was like, well, what happened? Was I the only one who liked it? And they were like, no, the manufacturer decided to pull it. I was like, what do you mean pull it? Well, where is it? And I could never find it. So I gave up. Fast forward, my upline, Susan, she had a party for one of my friends, and my
Uh-huh.
friend invited me. And in the party, I'm like, wow, this sure does remind me of something I did with Avon. You should
I
have
love
seen.
that.
Susan was so excited. Yes, this is it. This is it. And I got excited too. So I was obsessed. I think I was probably Susan's one of her best customers. I know I was. So she was like,
You're
girl, you
like,
need to do
I
this.
know. Yes. I
It
love
took,
it. I love that you tried
yes,
it like before most of us tried it
yes,
back in the day. That's so cool. And then you found it. It was meant to be, Vanetta. It was
it
meant to be. And
was.
here you
Yes,
are training us all on I mean, obviously you know the importance of parties because you've literally rediscovered Color Street through a party.
yes.
And now we call them beauty socials, but or and you can call them whatever you want. You're calling them open houses, which I love the name. I'll be honest, I love the name of open house because it feels way less pressure. It's just kind of like come and go from these hours.
Yep.
It feels more chill. So tell us first of all, how often when you started doing these open houses and like how often you do them.
Okay. So my very first open house, to be honest, was when I debuted as a color street stylist. That was in August of 20, no, I started August of 2019. I had my first open house in October
Hmm.
of 2019. And when I did that, I think I had three people show up, and luckily one of them signed up that day. And after
Nice.
that, shortly after that, COVID hit. So, so at that point, we weren't having parties. I was doing my best online, and I did well. Well, when the world opened back up again, I started saying, you know what? Let me try again with the house parties. And I had one here and there, but it wasn't really until this past I do vendor events as well. And I decided I didn't want to risk paying the high fee and not get that many showing up in November. So I said, well, let me do one at the house. And I think I had about five ladies show up that day. And then I did one in December and I had like 10. So January, I decided not to do it because it was January. You know how January is. But people were like, well, why didn't you have it? Why didn't you have it? So I ended up
I
having
love
people come
that.
and visit me, say, okay, so they know where I am now. They came to visit, say, well, can I come get this? Can I get that? Okay, fine. February was really well. It went really well. I think I had about 15 ladies. No, was it
Wow.
February? Yeah, 15. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That shows the power of momentum. I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we get impatient. We want it to start off with this huge explosion, right? Like we want our parties to be like super duper successful when we first start. We want to have all these people. We want to get super high sales, all this. But I think what I've discovered in my 22 years of being an entrepreneur is that it takes time, and it takes time to build momentum. And sometimes it takes time for our audience or our customers to be like, is she really gonna do this? Or to even notice that you're doing it. And then once they start noticing, then it starts to pick up this momentum, and you get more people that are noticing and more people that are wanting to participate and try it. And I mean, I know my first three parties, literally my first three parties ever, were a flop. I think I sold $0. $0. This was like when I first joined Color Street. Um, but I kept going. Like you got to keep trying to see what works, right? And to see and also to kind of let people know that you're serious about this, you're doing this, and to gain that momentum. And so you started with 5, and then look, you tripled as you continued, with your numbers. I love that, Vanetta.
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, even if you only have 3 people, that makes a difference because the party that I had like there was a party I had 3 people and I think I did like 500 in sales that day.
No way.
Yes. And I
That's
showed them the
amazing.
lipstick and the cheek products and they were like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know Color Street did more than just nails." So yeah, it was great.
Yes. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a huge part of what I've been trying to train everyone is like we've got to focus on the new. We've got to focus on getting new customers, new stylists, and we have new products called the makeup that our customers maybe haven't tried. And so focusing on the new and with this makeup, it's like a lot of them came for the nails, right? Like they love the nails. That's like the gateway. But then we have incredible makeup products. I'm wearing some. I'm sure you're wearing some right now. Um, and letting them know about this and try it in person. So tell me, what does it look like at your open house? I want to know exactly how you sold $500 with 3 people. That blows my mind.
Okay, so first of all, when they come in, I let them have a seat and they're not allowed to look at anything yet, not yet. So as they're sitting, I offer them something to eat or drink, and we start off with some small talk. Then
Mhm.
after that, I
Okay.
tell them, okay, so take a look at, oh, maybe I'll say, look at the new nail sets that I have this week. Then I'll do a game. Okay, so one of the games that I played involved the catalog. So it makes them take a look. So it's like a scavenger hunt. So once they're done with that,
Mm,
then each
love
time,
that.
yes, and each time they answer a question because there was one question for each category. So
Okay.
each time they answered a question, I showed them where it was on the table. And then, we just went from there. That it was great because then I was able to introduce everything without looking like, okay, here's our lipstick, here's this, here's that. But it was more fun and they enjoyed it.
Yeah. It
And then
was
they got to try it on too.
you
Yeah.
gamified it. That's brilliant.
Yes. Yes.
So as you played the game, then you kind of said, with the core catalog, then you would show them like, okay, and this is the mascara that I'm talking about.
Yes.
That kind of how you did it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you had them try it.
Yep.
Nice with little like sample sticks and
Exactly.
huh?
Yep.
The
Yep.
little dipsticks and stuff.
Yep.
Love it. I mean, here's something I've learned about sales long ago before I ever did Color Street. I used to be a photographer, and one of the things I learned about sales is if they try it, they're more likely to buy it. If they
Exactly.
touch it, they're more likely to buy it. So when you have them putting on the mascara, trying the lipstick, trying the gloss, then they're much more likely to buy it because they're applying it, they're touching it, feeling it, and that increases the chances of people buying it so much more.
It does. It really
Wait,
does.
so we need to know how to play this game. Do you have like a template or what? We need to know how to do this on our own.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
having an open house and I want to do this.
Okay, sure. So the first template I had was all nails. So I had to switch it around a little and do it on the fluff. So what I can do is I can go through, because I still have the answers from that day. I can go
Mhm.
through and type it up real quick and send it so I can share it with the group.
Oh, we would love that. It's kind of brilliant because you've got the catalog sort of as like your guide, to know like what to talk about. It's almost like a little sneaky flip chart, if you
Yes.
will.
Yes.
Love it. We would love to hear about that game. So then they're trying this stuff as you're kind of going through this game with
Mhm.
the catalog. What else?
Okay. So then they would say, okay, I want to buy this, 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 and this. And I'll add it up. And I say, oh, by the way, every time you make a purchase, you get to spin the wheel for a gift. So as people are looking, they're like, oh, you just won that. You just won this. I want to spin again. I
Mm.
say, well, you got to buy again. And that's really how that party ended up so big.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So every time they purchase one thing, they get to spin the wheel for one gift,
Yes. Well,
correct?
if you
Okay.
make a purchase, period, whatever after end of that sale, whatever amount it was. Yep.
Mm. So like, I just want to visualize this.
Okay.
So let's say they buy three things
Yes.
and it's maybe a total of like 50 bucks or whatever. They get to spin the wheel.
Yes.
But
That's
these
correct.
ladies kept saying, wait a minute, I want to spin the wheel again. And then you're like, okay, well, then
Exactly.
you got to buy more.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. Yep.
What was on the wheel like? What were some of the things they got to win?
Okay. So some of my sub boxes, everybody doesn't love everything. So some of my sub boxes, I knew what was going to be in it. So I left it and said, okay, this can be a gift for the open house. I offered
Smart.
a lip primer, a lipstick, nails, lots of nail sets though, because on the spinner, it'll say you get a glitter set, you get a solid set, a design, or a foundation set.
Hmm.
And then, of course, I had sub box and yeah, yep, that's what I had on the spinner.
Well,
I
plus that
even,
features the sub box. It gives you a
yeah,
chance to talk about the sub box, Jill.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. And I also did was one other thing. Oh, I also put the join special on there to make it look like, oh, you get to join for $1. What do you think about that? That it didn't work yet, but I know they made them
Love
think
it.
about it because they started
It's
asking questions.
Yeah, I mean, it still is sparks the conversation.
Yes.
That's all we want. We want at least a conversation about it.
Yes.
And now we've
Yep.
got the mini kit, which is
Yes.
so affordable.
Yes.
Love that. Brilliant. Okay, so anything else?
Um, oh, if you're going to offer food, be simple because they're not there for the food. I like to spoil my VIPs,
Hmm.
but I mean, they're okay with it. And I know this is odd and it sounds funny because I'm not a drinker, but I noticed the parties that I offered a glass of wine, they bought more.
I love that. I mean,
Right,
you got to notice patterns in your business. You got
right,
to
right.
watch what works. Okay, so who did you invite? How did you know who to invite?
Okay, so actually, I invited everyone that's in my virtual office. I also invited those that are in my VIP and anyone who reached out and said, "Well, I'm not local. Sorry, I can't make it." I offered them a special. Maybe it was a buy one, get one free, buy one, get something free from my stash, or maybe a free gift card with purchase for this weekend, stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that. We kind of talked about this before this call, but I think that's so brilliant for several reasons. One is you're showing consistency, you're especially as you continue to do these open houses. Um, two is you're also showing them this is how I work my business,
Yes.
which can give them an idea of like, oh, okay, this is what it would look like if I did this too. And
Yes.
I feel like in-person parties are starting to get a little more trendy, like they're starting to come back because people are wanting more in-person experiences. Like after COVID, we're kind of sick of the virtual stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And then the other reason is obviously you're inviting, you never know who's going to show up locally, but then you're also offering the people that are not local the chance to participate as well, which is also brilliant. So it's like you're not just tapping into your local people, you're tapping into everyone,
Yes.
which is so great. So did you have anyone show up that you were like shocked by, that you were like, oh, I did not expect you to come?
As a matter of fact, I did because I have one customer that lives in North Carolina, and apparently she just happened to be in that weekend and wanted to surprise me, and she brought a couple friends with her.
No way.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that. Do you encourage them to bring friends?
I do. Yep. They get a gift if they bring friends.
Super smart. Super
Yep.
smart. Do you reward them at all for to bring friends? I'm just curious.
I just it'll be like an accent set because I still have a couple of our accent sets left. So if they make a
Mhm.
purchase, they get an accent set with it. And if they don't, then I just give them a gift card. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's super smart to tell people to invite their friends. Like that's an easy no-brainer way to like double your attendance, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And as you continue to do this, people will see like, oh, this is so fun. I got to try these things. How are you going to mix it up? Like if you keep doing these every month at your house, Vanetta,
Mhm.
how are you going to make it so that people aren't like, well, I already did it. And so I already experienced like the catalog scavenger hunt. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. As a matter of fact, each party has a different theme. So it's going to have a different game as well. So I haven't
okay.
figured out what it's going to be for April. I'll figure it out. Maybe it'll be an Easter hunt or something.
Oh my gosh, an adult Easter hunt. I'm here for it.
Yes.
I
Well,
am
I'm a
here for
teacher.
it.
I'm a preschool teacher, so I do stuff like that. So adults
Yes.
like to do that.
Oh, heck yeah. And maybe one of them can have like some fun little goodies in the
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love that. I need to do that too for my April party. I think one little tip I want to recommend for people is to host parties based around what you're already doing. Like, for example, I love watching The Bachelor and I have bachelor watch parties. So next Monday, we're watching the season finale and it's going to be an open house beforehand. So it'll be an open house and then you can stay and watch The Bachelor with me. So it's going to be like Beauty and the Bachelor kind of
Yeah.
vibe. I think that's what I'm going to call it. And it's going to so think of things you already do. I was talking to another stylist. I'm like, she hosts these paint parties, she just does for fun. And I'm like, girl, make it like a paint and polish part. You know what I mean? Where it's like
Yeah.
you're painting plus you're featuring the nails. Like if anything that you're already doing, like throw in the nails and the makeup with it. The
Yes.
other great thing about doing these consistently is that you're going to get a system down and it's going to become so easy. Like for you, you already kind of know like the games, you probably already know the treats. You probably have starting to get your setup of like what equipment you need. It's kind of like vendor shows
Yeah.
too. It's like once you start doing it, you start to get a system and then it's not as hard. It's like you know how it goes and you're like ready to go.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So are there any other systems that you use or things you want to share about your open houses?
I can't think. I think that's pretty much it. I can't think of, yeah.
I love it. How long do they last? Are they typically like 2 hours?
Well, my plan is 2 hours, but sometimes it spreads on to three because, people like to talk and
True.
they're having a good time. I'm not going to just throw them out. So,
Obviously.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I did notice.
I will say for me, I do give, oh, real quick, I like to give a 2 hour window
Okay,
just to give them a guide of when to leave. As an introvert, I'm like, Kate, you cannot stay 4 hours. You need to know that it's going to end around 8 p.m. It's okay if they linger till 9, but I don't want them staying forever. So I do like
exactly.
to say open house from 6 to 8, like in my graphic invitation.
Right. I did notice on the parties that I have, like, let's say the 1 to 3 window, do better. If I put it later in the evening, they're less likely to come.
So
Like
you do them at
6,
1 p.m. to 3 p.m.?
yeah, yeah, like either 1 to 3 or 2 to 4.
Oh, is this typically
Yeah.
on a Saturday or a weekday?
Saturday.
Okay.
I've tried Fridays. Fridays work pretty good too. Friday nights, like after my daycare closes. Yeah. I've
Hmm.
tried Friday. I've done that a couple times. That worked well.
When
Um,
you do a Friday night, what's the hours you typically do?
like 7 to 9.
Okay.
But that does not work on Saturdays.
Oh no, I'm sure not.
No. Right.
Yeah. And here's some advice I just want to give to everyone listening is to instead of taking this personally, because not every open house is going to be a success. Not everyone's going to get like a huge amount of people. Get curious. Don't, you cannot be curious and judgmental at the same time. So it's easy to judge ourselves and be like, well, they didn't come because they don't like me or because, whatever. Um, to get curious and be like, I wonder why they didn't come. Um, so I know, Vanetta, you had a party once where you didn't have you didn't have attendance, and you and I were talking. Do you want to share this story?
Go, no, no. What were you about to say about it?
Just about how, you didn't, there was one open house you hosted where you didn't have anyone come, and we realized it was like spring break weekend.
Yes, yes, yes.
So instead of taking things personally, you guys, with any of your parties, whether they're virtually or in person, get curious and wonder like what didn't work about this? Because instead of getting like emotional and judgmental of like, oh, it's because they don't like me and taking it personally, get curious and figure out what went wrong and how you could learn from it and what you can do better next time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And as you continue to do these, as we get in the habit of doing these open houses, like you're gonna get better. You're going to notice patterns of what works, like you said, for you with the wine. And you can do more of what works. And what works for me or what works for Vanetta doesn't always work with your people because you're going to attract people who are very much like you, and you are not like me or Vanetta. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we have to get curious and sort of experiment with what works and what doesn't with our people, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Well, anything else, any other tips you want to share before we wrap it up?
I think just be comfortable, be yourself, have fun, because the goal is to have fun. And the more fun you
Yes.
have, the more fun they will have, and the more they spend. I
Yes.
promise you. I
So
promise you.
true. So
Yep.
true. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Vanetta. This has been fun and inspiring, and I hope this will encourage everyone to try to host a monthly open house at their house and to gamify it and to have fun themes and do things you're already doing. But include the nails and the makeup.
Yeah.
And just keep going. You're going to start building momentum and getting more people interested. And make sure you invite your local VIPs and even your faraway VIPs. And the virtual office will include all those people because
Mhm.
you never know, you might have someone that's local to you that maybe you've never met and that will show up and surprise you. So that's why it's great to invite using the virtual office.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vanetta. This has been awesome. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.